home side going with the white jerseys. Just a little slight advantage there in the hot South Florida sun.
See what difference that makes. Those are the same jerseys they were wearing in their semifinal victory over Memphis Thursday night. That 1-0 advantage. Memphis did a very good job shutting them down in the first half. Really made it a defensive battle, did the Tigers. But when you have a player like Steven Afrifa, he had the opportunity, pounced on a Tigers goalkeeper miscue, and Colin Welsh gave Afrifa the opportunity. Afrifa made the most of it.
And that's what we're going to see today. That's what we've seen throughout this conference tournament, is the little miscues, the little errors that can lead to a decisive and game-winning goal. Those teams, each team is going to want to try to avoid that today, but inevitably it does happen over the course of a 90-minute match. See who's able to take advantage and who doesn't. But I think just you can already tell two teams who know each other very well. They're very close to each other. Great atmosphere as well in the stadium with the crowd and the fans. You got fans on both sides here, so it should make for a very festive and electric atmosphere.
A lot of the Bull fans making the trip down from Tampa, supporting their side here on the road. You see David Garcia, the senior defender out of Mallorca, Spain, one of the captains, settling things down, wants his team to just go ahead and knock it around. And this is what FIU likes to do. They like to possess, and as I say that, they send the Route 1 ball out of the back, looking for Afrifa. As this one cleared away by Mazzaferro.
But Mazzaferro, what a great performance in the semifinal against SMU. SMU, they came in with first team conference, second team, rookie of the year play. Didn't matter. Mazzaferro and the USF defense were impeccable.
Mazzaferro, interesting that he and Afrifa actually played against each other in high school. Those two both from Toronto, so continuing that rivalry now at the collegiate rank as well. Mazzaferro out of Robert F. Hall Catholic Secondary School there in Toronto, and well, Mr. Afrifa, a product of West Umber Collegiate Institute. FIU, such a talented technical team. Flag stays down. They thought Alves was off. He was not. And Alves, one of the two new additions to the starting 11 for Coach Russell. He and his staff winning the American Coaching Staff of the Year, and very well deserved their first year in the American, but they won the regular season title. As here come the Bulls in transition. Have an opportunity. Rezano calling for it. Can they find it? Ball through to Rezano. Trying to get the shot off and cleared away. There was Scheckerman in the nick of time.
Yeah, I tell you what, that was a really good transition play there. South Florida, I think the ball needs to get played into Rezano just a hair earlier. I think if he plays him a little bit sooner, he can find Rezano in stride and then maybe get a shot on goal. I think if they just waited a little bit too late for the feed.
Heavy touch gave Carlos Scheckerman, the big 6'5" senior defender out of Barcelona, a chance to send it out. Now Mazzaferro serving it in. Across to the face of goal it goes. Out to the Bulls, shot deflected. South Florida looking dangerous early on. Bennett trying to play the transition game, can't link up with Afrifa.
And that was a really, really nice counterattack started by the Bulls against Spangler. Just, I think, a little bit too late playing to Rezano, but so far, pretty open, which is, it's nice to see. You would think in the final you'd see a little bit more kind of closed down, and perhaps that's how, as the game wears on, that's what it will become. But so far, these two teams really going at each other.
You mentioned Ajmir Spangler, the local product, another Tampa native out of Tampa Catholic and transfer from Stetson. He alongside Privitera, those are the two in the midfield, just such a talented duo, really the ones to keep an eye on for the Bulls.
Yeah, those two guys, Spangler, Privitera, they were so fundamental to the team's success in that semifinal. Just holding the ball, possessing, especially when you hold a lead.
Again, here come the Bulls. Privitera on cue. Two defenders in tow, able to split the pair. Privitera lays it off to Spangler. He will send it up to the top side.
But that was a little glimpse right there of what Privitera can do, splitting those two defenders, going right past him.
Mazzaferro, a lot of room here on the near side, unable to get it to him. Spangler trying to turn around, now out to Mazzaferro it goes. First touch, and collected by Kevin Haar, the freshman from Germany.
Yeah, a little frustration there from Rezano. He wanted it played sooner and wanted to play to him, but this is really nice here, kid, from USF so far. Getting the ball, playing to the midfield, and then out to the wings, and then trying to pump a ball into the middle. But I really like what USF is doing so far.
That's what you want to see, those wing backs. Mazzaferro, the left back, pressing forward in attack. They're going to need him. Such a talented player, as we mentioned. Really, he can contribute across the pitch, not just on the back line. But a good start, just over 5 minutes in. The Bulls having some possession. You look at the stats from the first time they met back in October, the possession was almost even. It was 52% in favor of FIU. Really, the one stat that stands out was shots, and FIU dominated that as they had 21 total shots, put 9 of them on frame. But you look for the Bulls, they had 9 shots. They were able to put 6 of them on goal.
That's the name of the game right there. It's getting those shots on goal, testing those goalkeepers, asking questions of the opposing defense and the opposing goalkeeper.
Har well out of his box and sends this one out for the throw.
When you got guys like Spangler, Privitera, these are skilled, creative players in midfield that can unlock a defense. They just have that special quality about them. And that's such a great asset to have, especially in a final.
And Coach Buthorn effusive in his praise for Gabriele Privitera, the senior from Venezuela. He said, look, he's the most technical player on the team, maybe the most technical player in the conference. Mazzaferro able to get to that. No. That ball just over the inline before Mazzaferro sent it in.
Well, that's now 3 balls played in there, kid, by USF, playing these deep crosses in. They're getting the balls out to the wings like they like to do. And I think maybe they call that out or what have you, but you see the approach here from the Bulls.
They are the aggressor, even though we are in Miami at the FIU soccer stadium. It's the Bulls early on having more possession, more opportunities.
You know, one thing that stands out is both of these teams they're good in close games and 1-goal games. So nobody's going to be unfazed by going down a goal or anything like that.
Arch, you know the Bulls have to be brimming with confidence after that semifinal victory. Not the fact that they beat SMU 1-0, but the fact that that was their first win over the Mustangs since 2016. Out it comes, still the opportunity, and this one bouncing around. Out it comes. Alves will send it up. Now Afrifa. Hold your breath when this man has the ball in his boots. Stephen Afrifa, room to run, 1 defender. Laid it off. He was trying to get that to Gasparoni. Couldn't settle it. Still the danger. Gasparoni. No trouble. Wyman there. Yeah, see what Afrifa can do.
Yeah, I mean, that opportunity falls by the wayside for FIU, and it's really the first time we've seen Afrifa on the ball. But when he gets on the ball in space, he's going to create. He's going to set up a teammate. That last one, Gasparoni, heavy touch, and the chance is spoiled.
He asks questions of defenders. Has great size and speed. Makes things happen. Exactly what you want in a forward.
I mean, obviously there's a goal-scoring acumen that Afrifa has, but what really impressed me in the semifinal was also his ability to generate, to create. I mean, defenders were closing in on him, so he said, yeah, a guy's going to be open. He would set up teammates. They weren't able to get a second or a third goal, but the opportunities were there to do that, and a lot of it was because of Afrifa.
He leads both teams with 10 goals on the season. Resano, the leading goal scorer for the Bulls, only with 5. But as you said, Afrifa, it's not just the 10 goals. He has 3 assists as well. Talented, versatile player. FIU starting to make their way into this one. And look there at Bob Buthorn, coach in his 6th season in charge of the Bulls, 20th season as a head coach overall. His counterpart, his 3rd season in charge. Mentioned the Panthers coaching staff, winning the American Coaching Staff of the Year. They had a great wrap up to their time in Conference USA, won the conference. They won the regular season their first year in the American. They're hoping to add a tournament title to that as well.
Yeah, that's pretty good, right? You leave one conference winning a championship, and you enter a new conference winning a regular season title, now hoping for the conference tournament championship.
They have an impressive roster, international talent up and down the pitch. In fact, no one from the 50 states starting in their starting 11 for the Panthers. Gives you an idea of how international they are. Players from Europe, South America.
Should make for a very interesting situation when the World Cup starts.
I think Paulo Alves of Curitiba, Brazil, feels like he's in a pretty good position over his teammates. His home country, the favorite going in. Here come the Bulls again on the front foot, headed away. Shekerman. Very nicely done. Spengler able to win it back. Midfield doing their job for South Florida. Spengler goes for a run, dispossessed. Bulls trying to find a way through, and this one cleared away. Got to see it there. Here comes a free fall. Well defended.
I mean, what great intensity and energy to this final kid. I mean, every ball being disputed, every 50-50, like it's the last ball to be played. I mean, this is really what you want to see in a final in the conference championship game. It's great.
May well be the last match of the season for the loser.
Very
Obviously,
well, yeah.
The winner of the automatic qualifier as the conference champion. But the loser, they have to sit back and see if they get in that large bid. You would think the case for both these teams very strong, but you never want to have to sit there on your hands and wait for tomorrow's selection show.
And that's why I think, and Morgan was talking about it right before kickoff, the depth of these two teams. And, it's not only these 22 men on the field right now, it's their benches, the players who come off the bench, the impact, the spark that they're going to be able to provide. That's going to be just a huge part of the winning team's success.
Great point. You and I saw that in the semifinals on Thursday. They were able to bring players off the bench, and there was no discernible let-up whatsoever.
Right. I mean, no drop in quality or anything like that. It's still with the same approach, the same idea of play, the same style.
There's such talent up and down these rosters. Ramadan looking for a teammate. Referee says play on. A Bull down on the pitch. Here comes South Florida again. Looking dangerous. Sparks in the box. That one headed away. Able to track it down inbounds. No, just a bit late to it.
I honestly thought that he was able to keep it in, but the referee says no. Certainly will take his word for it, but I thought he kept it in.
Yeah, it looks like JT Copper, the Tampa native out of Berkeley Prep, was able to get there. Again, the ball has to completely eclipse the line. It must go over. The ball can tightrope the line the entire way down the pitch. Sure. It's still in. That was a close call, but we will obviously defer to the officials. There's Mr. Christensen trying to pick up a few extra meters before the throw. The junior from Denmark will have to do it again. Alves. Knocked away there. Copper unable to find a teammate. Here come the Panthers again in attack. Ball laid back. That shot deflected. Came off the boot of Andrew Bennett. Now a free throw. Looking for Alves, the Brazilian. Cuts through. Has a man. Bennett tries to get the shot deflected. Schaefer was there.
But what a nice chance there for FIU. A free throw. What he's doing, he's drawing about 2 or 3 defenders close to him, and it's opening up spaces for the Panthers, some other guys like Alves, Bennett, to try to exploit.
Bulls, their opportunities have come via the counter for the most part, as Resano able to lay it back. But Evitera had Copper, elects to keep it. And this one turned over. Panthers see if they look to move quickly. Bennett doing just that. Beautiful ball laid over the top. It's going to be a race to it. Able to get there in the nick of time. Oh, and a great tackle, able to take it away.
Good defending. That's a tough spot there. You're on the wing, 1v1 for the defender to win that. It's a good job.
Quarter of an hour in, scoreless. It is Championship Sunday, an all-Florida final here in Miami. The Panthers and the Bulls. Bulls hoping to hoist another tournament title. Their first came back in 2013. They were regular season champions back in 2016, but they have not won any hardware in the American since. Bennett serves that one. No trouble from Wayman.
Yeah, that's good for Wayman. That's a good, solid save. This is kind of a tricky playing surface, kid. You know, we've seen some of the divots in the ground and everything, and it wreaked havoc a little bit in the semifinal. We saw with the SMU missed penalty and everything. So I think Wayman, the ball coming off the turf on a bounce is going to be a little difficult to deal with, but he did a nice job on that last ball.
Yeah, Jackson Wyman had a very good semifinal. The Marquette transfer and Evanston, Illinois native was tested, but he came up big every time he had to. Privitera looking for the free kick. That one appeared to come off the arm. Referee said it may have been the shoulder. And you see Privitera right there, a little chicken wing. See if we can get another look.
Yeah, I think for me that's a handball. The player, not only does it strike his arm, but he's leaning into it as well. That is not off the chest. I think that should have been a free kick there, but USF plays on.
Matteo Gasparoni, the grad student from Italy, may have gotten away with one there. Gasparoni tried to win it back. Here's Alves, searches. Alves, his pass behind his intended target.
And that's what you don't want to see if you're head coach Kyle Russell right there for FIU. You don't want to give the ball away cheaply, especially in a final in a conference championship game.
He's looking for Matthias Lebanon, the junior from France, and here they come yet again. Afrifa, big tackle, wins it back. You can see the Bulls there closing down on number 11 for the Panthers. Anytime Afrifa has it, there's not one but two defenders there immediately.
I mean, that's a clear directive. You know, that's something that they wanted to do. And then there's on the other side, there's another ball given away in their own half. And you know, kid, when you're looking at players, when you're evaluating players, analyzing players, you're saying who takes care of the ball, who is going to just, you know, not pump a ball forward and or hopeless ball or play a wayward pass when they have the time. That's what you want to be looking for. So, and you don't want to give the ball away cheaply like that.
Possession's so important. As you said, particularly in a match like this, you do not want to give it away cheaply. As Privitera into the center circle. Now the reinforcements for South Florida making their way up the pitch. Copper here on the near side, Mazzaferro. Back with Scargill. Scargill continues his run. Off the outside of the boot, Resano unable to get around Garcia. Draper wisely settling things. Well, Arch, we mentioned these two teams' first match back in October. There were 2 goals in the first 4 minutes. Didn't think we would see something like that, and that is indeed the case. Much more cagey affair, if you will.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, much more befitting of a final to have, you know, a 0-0 this early on, and you know, the fan bases, they're getting fired up. You had the USF chant start and then quickly drowned out by the FIU fans.
Well, Shekerman commits the foul on Resano. Resano, the sophomore out of Mexico City, came through the Pumas of UNAM program, able to win the free kick.
I just got to say, kid, what a great atmosphere for college soccer. I mean, a conference tournament game, you have this kind of environment with the fans and I know you don't like the vuvuzelas, but you know, it adds a little flavor, a little color to it. It's wonderful that these players have an opportunity to play in this kind of atmosphere in a final.
Yeah, right you are. Full credit to all these fans.
Vuvuzelas aside.
All I'm saying is they had their time and their place. Privitera. He will send it in. Looking for the back post. Schaefer the target, and it is off the head of Christensen, so corner coming for the Bulls.
There's a good look at Schaefer, who was, along with Mazzaferro, was excellent in that semifinal win. against SMU. He's also a threat on set pieces and the attacking third. Very good in the air.
Schaefer, 6'3" sophomore out of Atlantic Beach, Florida. Came through the Jacksonville Armada Academy program. Privitera from Ciudad Ojeda in Venezuela over to take it. That one cleared away.
Good ball.
Oh, chance here. Here come the Panthers trying to get numbers forward.
Oh, there's a free throw. Oh.
And they were trying to get it through. A free throw was free. They just couldn't get the ball to him. That was João Domingues, the freshman from Portugal. He was all rookie this year in the American, and he had a free throw. Had he been able to get the ball to number 11?
That was a long busting run from a free throw. As he started that counterattack and then just ran his socks off to catch up. And the ball was there. He was played in. It would have been a 2-on-1, and you would have bet the house that a free throw could have finished that. But really good defending to cut down the pass.
Schaefer out of the back. He's looking for Resano hard there, quickly off his line. And back and forth, very entertaining affair. Just under halfway through the opening 45. Panthers with some space in the center of the park. Frifa, the target, is going to be too tall, and Wyman happy to claim it. Let's check back in with Morgan. Morgan?
I spoke with Coach Russell this week, and one of the things that he told me was just how important character is for this team in the recruiting process. He said it's not about the beaches and the palm trees. He's about guys that are driven internally with clear goals and ambitions, and here they are, their first season in the American to win the regular season championship and be here hosting as the #1 seed in this tournament. And he said, you know, every player you recruit has to be able to produce, but the one player that he's been really proud of is Stephen Afrifa. Just says that, you know, that guy can do things that not a lot of other college players can do, and if you take your eyes off him for a second, he has the ability to make magic happen.
Yeah, he certainly does. Thank you, Morgan.
That sounds about right, doesn't it?
Kyle Russell, 30 years the head coach of FIU. He was 2021 Coach of the Year in the American. His staff, the 2022 coaching staff of, or excuse me, that was in Conference USA. This year they are coaching staff in the American. Hard to keep straight all the awards they've won in a very short period of time for the former Coastal Carolina defender. But his coaching career is still young. This is his 30 years as head coach. They've had a lot of success early on.
I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have lasted. Coach would have found me on the beach, and that would have been it for me.
Arch would have, he would have said, I'm sorry, you have to have your priorities. And apply that comes well after the pitch, my friend. But you and I were talking about this before this match started, how difficult it is not just transitioning to a new conference and everything, the new foes, what you're dealing with on and off the field, but having the success they have, it really speaks to the coaching staff and the support staff for FIU.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just that support structure, that infrastructure in place, and to be able to move to a new conference, and like you said, you know, you're going up against new teams, different styles, places you've never played before, and it's been seamless for them. And that's a credit to the university, to Coach Russell. I mean, everybody on the staff, as you said.
Again, hot and humid here in Miami, so we will have a hydration break just about halfway through the opening 45. Scoreless between the 1 seed FIU and the 3 seed South Florida. We'll take a break. Stick with us. You're watching the American Men's Soccer Championship on ESPN+.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our trouble will be out of sight.
Unlike the other guys, T-Mobile has Price Lock. Switch now and we won't raise the price of your talk, text, and data.
had me at Allison 10-speed transmission. Features available on GMC Sierra Heavy Duty. Premium and capable. That's professional grade from GMC.
Welcome back. Another beautiful day in Miami. It seems like every day is a beautiful day in Miami here in the middle of November. 83 degrees. I'd say that's more than partly sunny.
Yeah, very, very sunny day. You know, nice thing for these two teams that there's not a lot of wind, so there's not going to wreak too much havoc, but the humidity is definitely there.
Yeah, it'll be a factor. The good news is both these teams from the Sunshine State, the heat and humidity should not play a factor, as well conditioned as they are. A hydration break. Both teams getting an opportunity to get a drink and have a chat with the coaching staffs, maybe more importantly.
Yeah, absolutely, and just kind of, you know, a chance to regroup, you know, kind of re-emphasize what they wanted to do here in this first half. Each team's had a chance. You know, they've had a couple looks into the area, but nothing that's truly troubled the opposing goalkeeper. And I would imagine that we're going to start to see some substitutions.
I think you're exactly right. Interesting that you said that, talking about shots and shots on goal so far. They've been, well, we have seen a total of 3 shots, 2 for the Panthers, 1 for the Bulls, and not a single shot on frame thus far.
Yeah, so nothing, as we kind of anticipated after a 3-3 game in that first meeting this season. Just, it's much tighter in this one.
Panthers electing to make a change. It will be Fumiya Shiraishi, the junior from Tokyo, coming on. He will plug in up top in the spot of Bernardo dos Santos Montero.
Shiraishi's a really nice player. I mean, he can score goals, he can assist, he can play make, create a lot of chances. So, you know, what we've seen so far, Kid, in this conference tournament, we've seen a lot of players come off the bench and have an impact, and that's just sometimes the things that can happen. You sit on the bench, you're watching the game from the bench, you kind of get a chance to assess from your seat, and then you come on with maybe a little bit clearer idea of what you want to do.
Shiraishi second on the Panthers in goals scored with 4, has 2 assists, puts him third total in points on the season. We saw the Bulls set to check in as well. They will make some changes. I believe that was Julio Plata and Alfred Perez set to come on. Josh Gomina taking the place of Victorio. Here come the Panthers. This one finds the back of the net. Somehow able to get by Wyman. And FIU is on the board.
Well, there you go right there, Kid. What do we talk about? We talk about asking questions of the opposing defense. It's a deep cross. It finds the back of the net, and the celebration is on here in Miami. What a great goal to start this thing off. Here's another look.
Bernardo dos Santos Montero, the sophomore from Brazil. He was set to come off. Shiraishi still on the sideline waiting to come on as a substitute. Dos Santos Montero says, well, if I'm going to come off, I'm going to make something of it with the limited time I have left.
And I think it takes a deflection off a USF defender, which fools Wyman. But again, it's a deep cross. You've got to put pressure on the opposing defense. And a deep cross like that did that. Defender, it's unfortunate for him, but it takes a deflection. But Bernardo dos Santos Montero, the Portuguese, he won't mind.
The sophomore with his 4th goal of the year, and we have found the opener, and it is for the host, FIU. Now, how does South Florida respond? They have given up the opener in this one.
And USF, Kid, this is a team. They were down in the first round of the conference tournament to Charlotte, 1-0. Managed to stay composed, kept their composure, and rallied back to 2-1.
And this season, when their opponents score first, South Florida 3-4-1. Something to keep an eye on as we check back in with Morgan. Morgan?
Just moments before that goal, guys, we had seen the stoppage in play called by the head referee, and technically it's an NCAA rule that if it's 86 degrees or warmer, you can call a hydration break. Technically, it's only 85 degrees here in Miami, but feels like 89, and I can attest it's pretty hot and humid. Gave the guys an opportunity to just get rehydrated, take a little break, and, the momentum kind of swinging back now here in FIU's favor, getting that goal.
Thank you, Morgan. Hope you had the opportunity to hydrate as well. And, well, use the heat index. It's hot. It's humid. The temperature certainly in the upper 90s.
And I think that's the
upper 80s, I should say.
Yeah, and I think that's the right decision to stop that game, to get a cooling break, allow these players to hydrate. And for FIU, I mean, they certainly made the most of it.
I don't think the fans needed a break.
I think they're very hydrated.
I think they're ready to go. They were here before the teams even made their way out for the pregame warm-ups. You mentioned the wonderful atmosphere here at the FIU Soccer Stadium, and it's great to see with all that is on the line, a tournament championship, as the Panthers have found the opener. Bernardo dos Santos Montero. And a heavy tackle. That's going to go against Gasperoni, and the Italian had what we thought was a handball earlier. Needs to be careful.
Yeah, there we go. Let's take another look. No yellow for that, unlike the 8 yellow cards in the two teams' first meeting. But it's key now for USF to a guy like Plata, Spangler, Privitera. These are the players that need to be on the ball, try to regain control. They've lost it there in those last 5 or 10 minutes, and FIU end up getting the goal. USF need to now reassess and try to get back on level terms, but it's going to have to come from their midfielders.
South Florida looked good early on when they had possession. They were letting those midfielders you mentioned really control things in the form of Moriyama, Privitera, Spangler. Haven't seen a lot of the ball. This one headed up to Perez. Alfred Perez serves it in. Had a man. Still danger. Finally checking him in to clear.
That was a really good ball there from Perez. He flights it into the area and just misses connecting.
Perez, the grad student out of Miami, transfer from Harvard, had that game winner. He won the penalty in that semifinal against SMU.
Good ball.
Gomina looking for Perez. And all of a sudden, Plata and Perez, the new additions for South Florida, really making an impact.
You still need those runners in the box. When you get the ball on the wing, you need those players to get into the box to be on the end of that cross.
Serving that one, no, is shot, but well off target. Copper there, taking a crack at goal. Take another look, Gomina in a wide area, good ball in. Again, Perez the target, but Garcia just able to head it away.
Oof. That's rough.
FIU fans, fighting words here at the FIU Soccer Stadium as Steven Afrifa comes off, gets a well-deserved rest. See the new additions as Tobinski will come on to take his place. Christensen, there'll be a change in the back line as Philip Hildebrandt coming on, and the senior one Dane defender for another.
And Kid, I think if you're FIU, you want to continue, keep your foot on the gas. Look for a second goal. Don't just be content with having one goal, thinking, okay, we can play our game, play defensive, and it'll hold up. No, you got to continue to put this USF team on their heels as they try to get back on level terms. So, very interesting sequence here as we enter the final quarter hour of this half. Another goal can really, you get a goal for USF and the momentum's clearly back with them. A second goal for FIU, and then it's going to be a really, really tall task for the Bulls to try to come back from.
Both teams exchanging possession in the midfield as Gomina goes for a run. And able to get around Hildebrandt. Fresh legs there. One thing we know about these two teams stylistically, they are not going to park the bus. That is not how they play. They play an attractive brand of soccer. And it really matches up well with what we've seen thus far, 30 minutes in.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, I mean, the ball's staying on the floor. These are two teams who like to play on the ground. Not necessarily like that Route 1 soccer, or not too much of a counter-attacking game. These are two teams that like to play from the back, through the midfield, and up into the final third.
Hildebrandt there to clear it away. Coach Buethorn and his staff looking on. Monty Marshall, William Childs, his assistants. Talked about the depth that his team had and said, look, coming into this weekend, they're the hottest team in the conference. They found their rhythm. Their only loss in conference was to SMU. They were able to avenge it in the semifinals, beating the Mustangs for the first time since 2016. A 1-goal deficit certainly will not deter them any.
To do it in style with Perez executing the Panenka, the chip from the penalty spot, I would never have the guts to do that, but
that was
Perez got it done. It almost missed.
An iffy Panenka as the SMU goalkeeper, able to get the fingertips to it, but still it found the back of the net somehow.
So this is obviously a USF team with a lot of personality on it. They play with that personality, and now they need to tap into that to try to find a tying goal.
Gasperoni looking up for Alves. Gasperoni trying to settle it, and that is going to go against Gasperoni. A high boot there. Perez. Privitera has Gomina to his left. Privitera looking for a bit of room. Still contact, the referee says play on. Privitera less than thrilled that there was no call there.
I know Privitera wanted to make an extra move there, and they say play on there. I think he needs to distribute the ball a little bit sooner.
So both teams looking for a foul, neither getting it. Referee letting them play in what you would hope in a match like this, a championship final. And Tobinski runs up the back of the defender, and finally the whistle is blown.
Yeah, no yellow cards so far after 8 yellow cards in the first meeting. So this referee is definitely allowing play to continue.
Bulls fans trying to make their voices heard here. The FIU fans doing their best to drown them out. Again, a large contingent in green and gold making their trip down from Tampa. And the atmosphere, one of the best I've seen all season long in college soccer. Copper trying to send that one through.
Just goes to show, I mean, this, South Florida, the Miami area, it is very much a soccer city. Of course, Inter Miami being here, and the World Cup's going to be coming to this city as well. So a lot of excitement for the game in this neck of Florida.
Well, you can play just about 300, and we'll say 64 days a year. Maybe there's the odd one day you can outside, but
it helps for sure.
Certainly does.
Just imagine if a certain Argentine superstar ends up playing here, as has been rumored, in a year or so.
That would be, there would be a lot to cheer about. And Gomina, Hildebrandt there read it well, did the defender, and it had to as Gomina end of that.
FIU back, maintaining their line, staying compact.
Copper able to find his teammate, the overlapping run. Plata, no, Gomina. Hildebrandt again wins it.
And the case in point right there. Winning the aerial duels, winning the balls.
Philip Hildebrandt, the senior from Denmark, transfer from East Tennessee State. He's come on for Lucas Christensen and done an absolute masterful job on the back line. Just over 10 minutes remaining here in the first half, still scoreless. See if either side can find the opener. Mazzaferro, Scargill. Now back with Brian Schaefer. He and Scargill, the stalwarts, the center backs.
USF staying patient, not forcing anything. Smart thing to do.
Moriyama out with Privitera.
Touch.
Sending it here to the near side. Josh Gomina trying to work on Hildebrandt. Gomina able to get a step on him. Gomina still. The foul's going to go against Gomina as Alves there. There's contact, and take another look.
That's pretty tough. You beat a big defender in Hildebrandt, and then you got another one coming at you, nipping at your heels. Gomina trying, but doesn't work out.
Josh Gomina, the sophomore out of Ghana. Foul count, very manageable considering what we saw in their first meeting back in October. As you said, no cards issued thus far. Change is coming. Get some fresh legs on for the final push here. Rodo Kostancic, the freshman out of Slovenia, coming on, his first appearance in the match. Donovan Hesselmeyer also coming on for the Bulls. As you see Paulo Alves coming off for the Panthers. Brazilian will get a break as it is Simon Afrifa, the younger brother of Steven, now on, wearing number 12.
And two Afrifas, better than one. It's worked out really well for FIU this season.
And needless to say, they are on the same page when they're on the pitch at the same time. As Simon getting an opportunity here. Steven still on the bench. Continues to get a break.
Those two players, I mean, that just goes to show you they kind of coming out of the Canadian soccer system, and it just shows you the growth of Canadian soccer here in the last 5 or 10 years. Obviously, they've qualified for the World Cup, but you know, the way Canada has revamped their entire youth soccer program or youth soccer structure at the national level is you're seeing a lot of players, not only college soccer, but you know, some of the MLS, USL, Championship, USL League One. So credit to we've seen a rise of Canadian soccer players in college soccer, and a lot of it has to do with Canada's, you know, this dedication and new infrastructure in place to develop soccer.
Shion Soga also coming on, the sophomore originally from Japan by way of Novi, Michigan. That's a great point, Arch, when you're talking about the Canadian influence. We've seen that for a long time in the women's game, and particularly here in the American, there's a very large Canadian contingent. You look at Memphis, there are a lot of Canadian players that Brooks Flanagan has on his side, but you're seeing more of that on the men's side as well.
Yeah, and it opens up opportunities. I mean, you know, great example of that is Mark Anthony Kay and players like that. They come up through Canada, they get a chance to play college soccer, and then maybe opportunities in MLS. Also, there's the new Canadian Premier League, so opportunities abound.
Because they're giving away, and oh, you see Afrifa there. Simon thought he had the opportunity, just couldn't get to the end of it. A dangerous ball there from Julien Gastaldi, the sophomore from France.
That's a good look. Good look, just a little bit too heavy for Afrifa to get on the end of, but not bad.
Back to Perez. Perez goes to ground, and that is going to be a foul. Looks like the studs may have been up when Alfred Perez went on, and that's what Gasparoni's saying. He wanted a card. Simply be a talking to, it appears.
Yeah, I thought initially that we were going to see a card there, and yeah, studs are up, and that's a crunching challenge right there. No card forthcoming.
Good to see Gastaldi bouncing up.
Yeah, that's the most important thing.
It's been a physical contest as we anticipated it would be. But that being said, everything has been above board for the most part. Officials letting them play. Glad to see that's the case. The throw will be with the Panthers. Just under 6 minutes remaining. Talk about the importance of closing out a half well, starting a half well. Well, if either side is able to find a goal before the break, momentum-wise, that would be absolutely massive.
I mean, just huge. I mean, for FIU to go up into the intermission up 2-0, I mean, you're really, then that's when you can really start, you know, setting your eyes on the prize. But an equalizer for South Florida, you know, it's game on, wide open affair.
Let's see what the Bulls have in store this final 5 minutes and change here the first half. Scargill back to Schaefer. Vinsky applying a bit of tacit pressure. The back line you mentioned for the Panthers, they've been outstanding.
They've done a really, really good job. I mean, Rossano and the rest of the forward line for USF. I mean, we really haven't talked about them very much because they haven't been on the ball.
Babinski, a little back heel, brings the fans to their feet. Corner coming. Panthers able to win the set piece.
And that's another thing we haven't seen too much of is the set piece or corner kicks, but an opportunity here for FIU, and you know, they've got those big hulking defenders like Hildebrandt Guys like that, Checkerman, I mean, there's going to be an opportunity now for them.
You said we hadn't seen many. This is the first corner of the match for the Panthers. South Florida, they have had one of their own. João Dominguez will come over to take it. Winning all rookie in the American his freshman year. Dangerous ball. Wyman was there.
Well, that was a really well taken header. He's falling a little bit away from goal, but he steers it on target. Wyman, really good save. Punches it away.
Came off the head of Carlos Checkerman, the big 6'5" defender. No, excuse me, that was Garcia, David Garcia, his line mate on the back line.
And Wyman, I mean, he really has to stretch that. I think that would have fallen into goal too if Wyman couldn't have gotten there.
Great save, the redshirt senior out of Illinois, came through that Chicago Fire Academy.
There's a more traditional placement of a corner kick. You see a lot of players try to use the last blade of white.
Dominguez sends that one. Has a man, and the Panthers have their second. David Garcia with the insurance goal for FIU.
Well, kid, we were just talking about it, about the importance of trying to find, if you're FIU, trying to find a second goal before halftime to put USF on their heels. They've done it. They've done it through the set piece, and they've done it through their aerial game. Garcia, his header missed just previously, but at the second time of asking, it's there. And it's just a little second header. You know what? I'd be curious to see if he got a full touch on that, because it was a really good first header across, but it doesn't matter. FIU will take it. They're in 2-0 with just 3 minutes remaining. But FIU, they are making the most of their chances in front of goal.
The first header came from Carlos Checkerman, and the big senior defender headed it right to his center back mate. And David Garcia happy to take it. The Spanish connection and the fans here in Miami, a lot to celebrate. The Panthers with a 2-0 lead, and just over 3 minutes before the break, we mentioned it. If either side was able to find a goal before half, how big that would be. And now FIU with the insurance goal fully in control.
FIU have done it, and it's the first goal. What was it? It was a deep cross that put pressure on the USF defense. Fernando Santos Montero with the ball deflecting in, and then on that one, David Garcia, again, an initial header across off the corner kick, able to get a touch and just redirect it in. But that's what happens if you're able to just get pressure, apply pressure to a back line, ask questions, good things can happen. And for FIU, two very good things have happened in this half.
First year in the American Athletic Conference, they're the regular season champion. They're looking to add a tournament title to that as well. And what a start for Kyle Russell and his side.
And if you're USF, Coach Bob Buthorn, well, you want to get into halftime, just try to regroup a little bit, but they're going to have to come out with a much more attacking approach, much more open. They're going to have to commit more numbers forward to try to just at least pull one goal back. You can't think of it as 2-0. You just got to think, okay, we just got to get one early in the second half to try to do that, but they just need to regroup during this halftime intermission.
The bad news for the Bulls was the Panthers' perfect 9-0 in one-goal matches this year, but this is not a one-goal match anymore. It is a 2-0 advantage, and that is huge for a team as talented as FIU is.
Good news for USF is that they do have the goal scorers. They do have the playmakers to make up the difference. But so far what we're seeing from this FIU defense is they're up to the task as well.
The question is, who's going to step up for the Bulls? You mentioned those playmakers, Murayama, Previtera. Haven't seen a lot from their leading goal scorer, Oscar Rezano, and he's going to have to make an impact in the second half as a card is going to come out. And that will be issued to Brian Schaefer. The sophomore defender sees yellow.
Yeah, and that's a frustrating yellow there for Schaefer. Really, they weren't expecting to be down 2-0 at halftime, but Schaefer, Montefiore, that back line, they've been so good throughout the entire season, especially in this conference tournament. Probably feeling frustrated that they conceded twice here in this first 45.
Second team all-conference honoree. And first in the books for South Florida with a caution. I think right now Coach Butenhorn just wants this next 60 seconds to elapse as quickly as possible and have the scoreline remain where it is so he can get into the locker room and regroup.
Yeah, you don't want another lapse here in this final minute, of course, but just get to the locker room and try to see what you can do for the second half.
Sent in a Frifa. Wyman, no trouble. Looking for a quick throw. He will get it out to Gomina. Mina Frifa battling here on the near side, and Gomina unable to keep it in. Hildebrand take the throw. Tabinski. Do the Bulls have anything in these final 20 seconds? Could they pull one back? Plata hasn't seen much of it. It won't here. This one cleared away before it gets to the boots of number 15, but a late whistle as Plata still down on the pitch, and that's going to be a card coming out. The late tackle. You saw the contact there with Julio Plata. Mateo Gasperoni is now going to see yellow. He was the man who came in with the tackle.
That's a thing to watch here, kid, because you know if you have obviously a yellow card coming in, and then you know if there's a potentially like a second yellow or a red card, I mean then things can completely change. So FIU, it's really important that yes, you still want to stay intense, but you don't want to commit any silly yellows or even anything as egregious as a red.
See if Shion Soga likes to put this one on frame or lay it off to a teammate.
I think he might go for goal here.
Well within Soga's range. When I say that, this may be the edge of it. He could still put this one on goal, just needs to keep it on frame. Steady, lobs it into the box, headed away by Garcia. Shot deflected, and Hildebrand to clear it out. As the first half, we're going to have to put some shots on his frame early and often as we are underway. Half number 2. American Athletic Conference tournament title on the line. FIU first year in the American, already winning the regular season title and looking to add a tournament title to it as well. That would give them the automatic bid as the conference champion to the men's soccer tournament. It would be one of those 23 teams getting in because of that conference championship, and if South Florida isn't able to battle back, they would be in that position of those other 25 having to watch and wait, hoping they're get that at-large bid.
Yeah, for USF, I mean, this is a team, they have a lot of time to climb back into this. As we all know, 2-0 or 2-0 is the most dangerous scoreline in the game of soccer, but you don't want to be desperate, but you do have to have a little bit of urgency. You have to play with a little bit higher tempo, especially here in the first 10-15 minutes of the second half. Those are going to be really important for USF.
João Dominga is over to take an early set-piece opportunity here. It's just the third quarter of the match for the Panthers. He found a man. Chekanaman was wide open, couldn't put it on goal.
He was there, and I'm not exactly sure how you miss him in the area, and he just tries to swing a volley in off target, but needs to be better marking from USF on that corner kick.
You said that 2-0 scoreline. I don't think any coach is resting easy when they see that, but if they're able to find a third, I think they could pencil themselves in as the tournament champion as well. Are not tested. Rosano forces him to pick it up.
And you're going to want to see Rosano get more opportunities. He's a player that, you know, he's going to need that support from his midfield, from his playmakers to feed him. But once he actually has the ball and he's in on goal or in the area, you really fancy your chances of him finding the back of the net. He can do it. But it's going to be up to the Bulls. The Bulls attack, the Bulls midfield to make that happen.
And Rosano, 26 minutes played in the first half, did not register a shot.
Yeah, exactly. And then you just can't have that. Your center forward has got to be getting some looks.
3, Anthony.
Panthers content to take their time, maintain possession. Afrifa in the corner, tried to lay it off to a teammate.
And I'll be really curious to hear Coach Russell of FIU, what he told his group at halftime, saying, I like what I see so far, but, no let up. Play smart, though. Have a good balance.
It was interesting what he had to say to Morgan when Stephen Afrifa was on the pitch. And he said, we may be better when he's off because so many people are watching him, looking for him to do something. You made the Lionel Messi reference in the first half, and it's kind of the same thing. When you have a player of that caliber, your teammates are just watching for that player to take control to do it as opposed to getting involved.
Exactly, yeah, and then just, when he's off the field, the onus is now for somebody else to step up or for others to step up. But FIU, they have such, yes, Afrifa is the danger man, the star man, but they have such great balance all around.
Here come the Panthers. Afrifa, the target, just unable to get there. That one a foot or two in front of him, but another dangerous ball in. We said it when the Panthers scored the first. They are not a team that's going to sit back and park the bus. They now have 2, but that doesn't mean they're content to sit on this 2-0 lead. Copper. Bulls trying to get something. It's been difficult to break down that Panthers defense. Rosano poked away at the last second. Rosano just has not had opportunities, very little service, but it will be a set piece coming here. A corner kick opportunity as this will be the 3rd corner coming up for South Florida.
Yeah, a good start here for the Bulls. Let's see if they can make the most of this, take advantage of this corner kick.
Privitera had a man just too tall, unable to clear it away. Second opportunity, headed up. Still, and Shecklerman finally clears it out of the 18.
Better from USF, much better.
And a collision of bodies when the Panthers thought they were off to the races. And you could see Dos Santos Montiero, he already has 1 goal. Thought that may well have been his second.
But on that corner kick, when the ball's just pinballing around their kid, and as a defense, it's so nerve-wracking. But that's when, if you can find a goal like that, get yourself back into this game, especially here early in the second half. A South Florida goal here really changes the complexion of everything.
Privitera, low driving, headed away. Again, finding Privitera. Able to get around 1.
There you go.
Still. Gomina, heavy touch, and that gave Shecklerman the chance to clear it.
Well, right there you just see the quality of Privitera, just dancing around defenders, slaloming through him, trying to set up his playmaker.
Excuse me, that was Jamone Barkley, the freshman out of Kingston, Jamaica, who came on, a halftime substitute. And now seeing Barkley for the first time out on the pitch. Schaefer, long throw. He was looking for Rosano. Arch, very similar to what we saw to start this match. Bulls with a lot of possession. They were able to put the Panthers defense under pressure. Ultimately, couldn't crack the code that is that FIU defense and Kevin Harn goal. Spangler out to Mazzaferro. FIU content to keep numbers behind the ball. Privitera making a run. He will get it here on the near side. Privitera serves it in. Has a man. That header never on goal. Spangler coming in, just couldn't get the accuracy.
This is what USF likes to do. Through the midfield, play on the wings, pump a ball into the middle. And Spangler it's not a clean header, but he had a look at Spangler, up against some of those big, tall defenders for FIU, but he gets in there, gets the header, unable to steer it on target. But, there's a little bit more. You could tell there's more pace, there's more urgency from USF to start this half.
Kashmir Spangler, the junior midfielder, Tampa native, not the tallest, but able to find a bit of space. Dispossessed, Bulls back with it. Spangler again. Coach Buthorn, I have a feeling his halftime adjust to his team, less than pleased with what he saw. And you heard him talking to Morgan right there. We're going to have to grow up. Easier said than done taking on a team of this caliber.
Yep, grow up, find some maturity, find some resolve. And, I mean, so far, I think he'll be pleased with what he's seen to start this half. They don't have the goal yet that they would so desperately want to try to have this margin, but it's better.
Shiraishi taken away, now Copper. Looking up for Rosano, tries to spin around Sheckerman, and he will win the free kick. Again, better in terms of possession, but possession without a purpose, simply not going to do it. You can have the ball for 89 minutes, but if you can't do anything with it. Moriyama there playing the distributor up to Rosano. Gasparoni had it momentarily. Spangler able to keep it for South Florida. Another whistle.
I think it took a touch off the referee, yeah?
Did indeed, so our referee is going to bring it back, and that is fortuitous for the Bulls, as it looked like they'd just given that away yet again. Schaefer electing to switch field, going to the top side. In that back line for FIU, maybe don't get the credit they deserve. You talk about the offensive firepower, the goal scorers, but the reason they're so good in one-goal games is because of that back line. When they get a one-goal advantage and they are 9-0 in one-goal matches, that back line just clamps down.
Yeah, and Kate, it was so interesting during halftime as Morgan took us through some of the conference awards, and we saw attacking offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, rookie of the year. I mean, all these individual awards. Kyle Russell, FIU coach, getting the coaching staff, he and his staff getting the coaching staff of the year awards. But as far as individual awards like player awards, nobody from USF and nobody from FIU. So that kind of speaks to the strength of these two teams, and further speaks to your point about the FIU defense. I mean, and then we saw with USF, they have two defenders on the second team all conference, but these are truly strong teams that make up these two groups, and that's why they've been able to reach the final, because of their play as a team, as a collective.
To your point, Arch, the only Panther defender who won an individual honor this season was Carlos Sheckerman, the senior from Barcelona. He was second team all conference.
There you go. And on the USF end, Mazzaferro and Schaefer, if I'm not mistaken, the two second team all conference, and that's about it.
Right you are. Looking here to the near side, you take a look at the conference honors as this one flashes across the goal of Har. Again, Afrifa Nagal, first team. Montero Sheckerman, second. João Dominguez, he was all rookie team. Should mention that Afrifa was unanimous first team all conference, and for good reason. And as you said, Schaefer and Mazzaferro, the two defenders, both winning second team honors. Big tackle there right at the edge of the 18. And here they come again. Afrifa. Shiraishi. Out wide. Schaefer defending. Shiraishi puts it on the left. Takes a shot. Wyman there.
Good look, good move from Shiraishi, and that's a good strike toward goal. Kind of lashes it, hoping to beat him at the far post. Good goalkeeping from Wyman, but that all starts, Kit, with some really good defending from FIU. They start the counter, but those steps, the tackle there in the box or the dispossess, came inside their own area. So you have to be on the ball, but you also have to be accurate. A foul there, and then next thing you know, it's a penalty. So good defending from FIU.
Wyman certainly busier than his counterpart, Kevin Har, has been in this match.
And I think those types of counter-attacking opportunities are going to be more and more available for FIU as this game goes on.
FIU 7 shots, 4 of them have been on goal. Conversely, South Florida just 3 shots and none of them on goal thus far. Again, an opportunity goes begging. Spangler unable to get there. Take another look at Shiraishi's shot.
Yeah, and he's got the space. Left-handed strike. It's a good save from Wyman. That's a tough ball, too. It's because it's kind of dipping a little bit. Talk about the divots in the ground. You don't know what kind of bounce is gonna be, but Wyman gets low. Well done from the goalkeeper. Doesn't let that ball squib underneath him or anything like that.
Har, the freshman from Germany, 5 shutouts, a 7-3-1 record coming into today's match. Save percentage of 62, 1.68 goals against average. You see the shots, but not the shots. It's the shots on goal, and the fact that the Bulls, there it is, yet to record.
Yep.
Moriyama now with Schaefer. Electing to work out of the back, up to Resano, who has been really a non-factor in this match. And the question is, for Coach Beathorn's side, who is going to take this game by the scruff of the neck, so to speak? Who is going to take control and make something happen for South Florida? Out wide, sit in, good look to Resano. See if that is indeed a corner. It is.
That's a good look there. It's a good run from Resano. You tell he was going to just try to do a little flick or a little redirect toward goal. Defender cuts it off, but it's another set piece opportunity for USF.
So far, the chances for the Bulls not coming through the run of play. Can they find something via the set piece? Previtera into the gloves of Har.
Very sure-handed from Har. Those can be tough because just the slightest bobble or fumble, and then that can wreak havoc. So you like a goalkeeper who's going to come off his line like that and be able to take a ball out of the air.
They could not afford to allow that ball to hit the ground with so many in the box. Oh, what a tackle. Able to take it right off his foot. Gastaldi, beautiful stuff. Again with number 22 in white. Nifty move. Gastaldi, all kinds of room. Out wide, Shiraishi. Takes that one. He couldn't wrap it in.
But that was close. That was a good move. I thought he was going to go to his left. Instead, he curls to his right, takes the shot. I think it took a slight deflection.
It did.
Let's have another look at it. So he's got space on the left, but instead cuts to his right. The shot, little deflection, and that skipped a little wide. Not a bad effort.
Just the slightest deflection, enough to win the corner. Again, the American coaching staff of the year, Kyle Russell, Danny Merida, Lucas Champanoy, and Nicholas Itopoulos. Congratulations to those men. Impressive inaugural year in the American. Dominguez serves this one to the near post. Headed on, Afrifa cleared off the line. Wyman is there on the second opportunity.
Well, it was there for FIU on the second ball. The in-swinger. USF doesn't deal with it properly, and it was a chance for FIU.
Previtera quickly up the pitch, so fast with the ball in his boots. And less than pleased, that ball not finding his target, just too far out in front of him.
Yeah, Previtera, it's just too heavy. I see what he's trying to do. He wants to just play a quick ball in, try to slip it in, but the ball's too heavy.
Looking for JT Copper that time. Schaefer out of the back. Little pressure from Rifa, forces him backwards. Everyone back defending for the Panthers. Defense. Bulls have just not been able to figure out a way to break it down.
Yeah, first 15 minutes of the half, and now ticked away.
Spangler takes a shot, well off.
So I mean, USF, they're getting more into the final third here, getting more in front of the FIU goal, but just still nothing that's really forcing Har into a diving save or anything like that.
It'll be Yushi Nagao, the senior from Tokyo, coming on. First team all-conference, I should say, is number 10. He'll be taking the place of Julian Gastaldi. And a good run there from Gastaldi.
Yeah, nice play from Gastaldi that we saw. Freeing some space up. Working well in the midfield.
And Arch, not quite what we thought we would see here in the second half. We figured it would be South Florida just sending everything they had forward, putting this Panthers defense under as much pressure as possible, but it hasn't been the case. And you can see FIU's, they're content to let the Bulls have the ball in the middle third, knock it around, and once they get closer to that 18, that defense steps in.
Yeah, it's comfortable defending so far from the hosts. USF, I mean, as the time starts to tick away, they're going to be forced to commit more numbers forward, and FIU, they'll be fine with that because they know they've got the pieces in place to break in transition and hit for a third.
Good goals in the first half. Bernardo Dos Santos Montero had the first. David Garcia with the second. Scargill made the foul.
Certainly that man, all he needs is one touch and a third goal can come.
Well, we saw it in the semifinal. One miscue, one lapse, and Stephen Afrifa can make you pay. Afrifa tried to send that one off the chest. Instead, that was Moriyama who wanted the return ball, didn't get it. Back with Pineros Mayorga. A poor touch there.
Yeah, we were talking about these two teams doing well keeping the ball on the ground. Not on that sequence right there. USF, they can't give the ball away like that, especially if you're down 2 goals at this stage in the match. If the pass isn't there, don't force it. Your touches have to be right, but don't lose the ball cheaply.
Well, Stephen Afrifa comes off. We'll get a well-deserved break. As Rasmus Tabinski, the senior from Germany, comes on. The transfer from Vermont. We saw him as a substitute in the first half as well. Nice touch. Dominguez and Privitera battling. That time Privitera gets the better, and he's fouled. Some frustration on the part of João Dominguez.
And maybe a little bit of a tactical foul there. It's a free kick, and yeah, maybe a little bit of a tactical foul. It's a free kick that's far enough away from goal. It's maybe not going to hurt you that much. You don't want Privitera loose in your own half, especially with space.
Both sides with 1 yellow thus far. Scheckerman, he will let that one go out. Saw that it came off the head of one of the Bulls. And Rosano, I should say, is pretty much, he's been closed out as a sophomore from Mexico City. You know, the Panthers, they did their scouting. I know he's the leading scorer. They've not let him had any opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a couple of runs into the area where almost tried to get on the end of that one cross there earlier in this half. But yeah, like a striker like that, you're going to feel frustrated. But similar to Afrifa, he's got the quality that, you know, he can get the ball just one time, just one touch in front of goal, he can score.
We'll keep it with FIU. Just over 20 minutes having elapsed here in the second half. Still 2-0 the scoreline remains. What a start to American play for FIU men's soccer. First year in conference. They won the regular season. A mark of 5-1-3 in conference play. For South Florida, it was 7-2-1 for FIU.
And it's so impressive because the level of play in this conference is very high. I mean, you talk about historic programs like SMU, so many different quality players all across the board. Strong conference, and yet they've come in regular season winners and now very close to becoming tournament winners.
Play continues. Checking him in a bit of a shove there on Resano. Now Spangler. Gasparoni, the man closing him down. He was looking for Copper to head it out. Corner coming.
And here you go. If you're USF, you got to make these count right here. It's a good touch there. It's a good look from Spangler. Forces the corner kick.
That's a play from João Dominguez. In the situation, 2-0 lead. Don't take any chances.
Looks like they're going to play this one short to Privitera. Or not.
Spangler sends it into the mixer and just off the mark. A great ball.
Best look at goal right there so far for USF. I think that's Schaefer. Flashes towards the net. Tries to steer a header on target. Boy, that's a great look, and he just unable to get it on there. I think there was enough attention, enough distraction there from the FIU defense that kind of forced him to head wide.
Arch again, the chances for South Florida not coming through the run of play, so they really have to take advantage of the set pieces. Is that flag raised for offside?
Exactly.
There's still time, still 22 minutes remaining, but when you have those chances, that's what you want. Great service, much better in that situation. And now the fourth corner of the game for the Bulls. Oriama up with Privitera. He's been the man in the midfield. Shadowed by Lalanon. Here to the near side. Oh, and Pineros Mayorga tried to settle it, couldn't. He was open.
Boy, he had so much space there. If he could have settled that better.
Barkley serves it in. He was looking for that back post.
USF, they're creeping closer and closer. Still hard, still not forced into a big time save yet, but USF are really going at it now.
Miguel coming off, Andrew Bennett back on for the Panthers.
Some welcome shade there on the field as well. A little bit of cloud coverage as it's starting to get later in the day.
Not something that we've had thus far in the match. It has been all sun. Humidity just shy of 60%. Temperature just around 85 degrees.
Coach Buterhorn, urging his guys on. 20 minutes is a lot of time.
It is indeed, but they need to make something of it. Shiraishi unable to get there in time, but he doesn't have to. Dominguez does. Bennett now. You're looking for Dominguez, and that is sent out.
And FIU, they will definitely take their time.
I don't know if it's a welcome to the cage. Anyone who plays here, I don't know that they're happy to be in this beautiful FIU soccer stadium, as it is a fantastic facility, but there's a reason that FIU is 6-2 here this year. Too tall. And all the way across the pitch it goes for the throw.
Bennett taking a little bit of liberty there with the corner circle. Probably a good foot off. Hey, you gotta take advantage of the little things when you can.
So Paulo Alves comes back on, senior from Curitiba, Brazil, and it'll be Simon Afrifa as well for the Panthers. Rush legs on, and FIU looking for that third goal in the second half. It has been a stalemate. 2-0 scoreline is what we had at halftime, and really it's been a slower pace than we saw in the first 45 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, there's, you've seen a little bit more energy from USF, but FIU very content with the way this game is going, the way it's being played. They're not being pinned too far back by the USF attack, and they've also had a couple looks at goal themselves, so FIU, they have no problems whatsoever with how this game is going.
We mentioned the heat and humidity. We will take our second final hydration break. Just over 18 minutes remaining. And it's FIU up 2-0.
Take a picture.
I'm stuck! Is that a new iPhone?
Yep, I just got the new iPhone 14 with its amazing camera at T-Mobile.
I don't know what to do!
Just switch to T-Mobile and you can get iPhone 14 with Apple TV Plus included. And so much more. I'm talking over $225 in benefits every month.
Wow!
At T-Mobile, get iPhone 14 on us with Apple TV Plus included. Part of over $225 in benefits every month on Max family plans.
Nearly 150 years of experience goes into making each and every Continental tire. So you can trust with total confidence that our tires will deliver superior performance, no matter where the road takes you. Continental Tire, for what you do.
Second final hydration break in the books. Fans here at the FIU Soccer Stadium enjoying themselves. A beautiful day. Hope you are as well, wherever you may be joining us from. And, well, we've got a few of you may not be here stateside, as there is a huge international presence on both of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, just take a look at it all throughout the Americas and Europe, of course, and then as well in Asia. So wonderful to see just such a strong international presence here in this match, and it's really the case throughout college soccer, both at the men's and women's level. It's really become an international game, and I think it's made it all around a better product.
It's the world's game, and, well, these rosters representing just that. If you're just joining us, both goals for the Panthers coming in the first half. And it was Bernardo dos Santos Montero who had the first in the 25th, and then the insurance goal from David Garcia in the 42nd. Time remaining, just over 18 minutes left, but the way this Panthers defense has been playing, South Florida is going to have to. They're going to have to start committing numbers forward.
Absolutely, you gotta start trying to apply as much pressure as possible. Here's one right here,
and knocked away by Garcia. Well defended from the captain.
Yeah, and that was all ball too. I thought, well, maybe he clipped his leg, and that's going to be a foul. But here's another look. Oh yeah, that's very good defending.
David Garcia, the senior out of Mallorca. Long throw, Schaefer to take it, sends it into the mixer, and that is headed on, but right to Haar. Had it been anywhere else, it may have been a goal, but right to the feet of Kevin Haar. He makes the save.
Yeah, best chance right there today so far for the Bulls. It's a free header. Oh, and he just sends it right to the hands of Haar. As you said, kid, if it's anywhere like a meter or two to his left or right, maybe it's a 2-1 game. But that's what USF needs to do. That's the type of look.
Afrifa heads himself into space. Does Simon Afrifa. A little back heel back to Simon. Dances. Afrifa cleared away by Schaefer.
I think Afrifa, he needs to pull the trigger there a little bit sooner.
Scheckerman with the foul. A lot of contact between he and Resano, and Scheckerman is going to go in the book. It'll be the second yellow issued to a Panther.
Yeah, Resano not happy with how that went. An exchange of words there, but USF, that last sequence there, got a good look at goal. Here's another look at the foul. Yeah, it just gets in from behind him, and Resano obviously not pleased with how that went.
A lot of contact between those two. Scheckerman with his team-leading 5th yellow of the season. As Rory makes an appearance.
Gotta love the name of the mascot for the Panthers, Rory.
Rory's had a lot to cheer about, or should we say roar about? Sorry, a little too on the nose there. Wadayama now back with Scargill. And again, this is really how the second half is shaped up, that Panthers are content to let the Bulls knock it around in the center third, but once they start getting closer to that 18, that defense is theirs. The foul, Resano there on Gasperoni. And if you're FIU, no reason to hurry. Take all the time you can.
That's right, no rush. You're a little over 16 minutes away from winning this tournament. It's just exactly where you want to be, but you got to see things out. It's a 90-minute game, not 75s. Not 75 minutes, 90.
Afrifa, and great save. Able to parry it away was Wyman.
Nice stretch save there from Wyman. I'm not sure if that ball is on target just from the angle, but Wyman, he's got to be sure. Can't take any chances.
Redshirt senior transfer from Marquette. Simon Afrifa looking for that post. And as you said, Wyman couldn't afford to take any chances. And Gasperoni coming off for FIU. It'll be Julian Hodek coming on, the sophomore from Germany. Wyman easily there. Quick, tries to get the restart. Given away just as quickly. 15 minutes remaining. 15 minutes away is FIU from doubling their championship total their first year in the American. They already have the regular season title. Can they add the tournament as well? South Florida, they won the tournament title back in 2013. They were the regular season champs in 2016. And sent over to Dubinsky. Flag stays down. Dubinsky well off.
But you see FIU, they've held their ground in this second half. Maybe some legs were starting to get tired on that USF end, and now FIU's starting to get a couple chances that they've created here in the last couple minutes. And with a 2-goal lead, they're in a really good place.
Shion Soga comes back on for the Bulls. Saw him as a first half substitute as well. Nifty moves there from Mazzaferro. Out he comes, Copper. Copper, edge of the 18, shot deflected by Shekerman. Hodek finally sends it out.
Boy, Copper got in behind the defense. I think maybe if he plays it out wide to his left, I think he had a man there that elects to go for goal. Here's the shot. Good block there from Shekerman.
Long throw coming from Schaefer. Right into the gloves of Kevin Haar.
Good concentration from Haar. Those can just be so difficult for a goalkeeper because, even just the slightest flick from the head and that changes the trajectory of the ball just slightly, and then it affects your concentration, your focus. Haar really solid in goalkeeper as the goalkeeper in this whole tournament.
Alves up to Bennett. Looking to return the favor. Privitera shows the nifty footwork we've seen all match long from number 9. Making his way out of the back, Lemana. Dubinsky to Simon Afrifa. Trying to return the favor. Alves finally settles it. Afrifa looking in, and Dubinsky had already made the run, couldn't get back in time. It was interesting there, RJ. It looks like nobody for the Panthers really wanted to take the shot. There were a few opportunities to take it from outside the box. Obviously, with this 2-0 lead, you don't have to force anything. But a bit surprised that one of those goal scorers didn't have a crack.
Yeah, every once in a while, it's okay to be selfish, right? But I think with a 2-goal lead, you can afford to pick and choose your spots. Afrifa, his shot, going out for a goal kick.
Lucas Christensen comes back on, the junior from Denmark. The defender started the match and came off as a substitute. Garcia down in obvious pain. Big contact between He and one of the Bulls. Resano maybe accusing him of doing a little gamesmanship there, possibly some time wasting from David Garcia. No language barrier between the Mexican and the Spaniard. Tried to head it onto Afrifa. Out it comes, and that was a good opportunity.
What a great look right there. And that's just a simple long ball, just hoofed upfield. Second ball, latched onto and missing the target. I think you're starting to, I kind of get the sense, kids, there's some tired legs there on the USF side. You know, let's keep in mind, they had that early round game against Charlotte, so they've got an extra game under their belt as opposed to FIU, who the only game that they've played in the last week and a half or so is their semifinals, so possibly a factor as well.
Moen Barclay coming off, giving away to Marcus Victorio, the sophomore from Oslo, Norway. Another one sent in, but no one there. Is well over the head of everyone in black.
And it's tough. I think it's just been tough for USF today. They just, that final ball, that final touch has just been lacking. And when it continues to miss, frustration builds. You kind of get a sense that, you know, in FIU, they're smelling a third goal here to put this one away.
You would imagine with just 10 minutes remaining, a third goal, that would do it.
That would pretty much do it, but I mean, if USF, I mean, if they can come up with something, but then you've got Stephen Afrifa coming on the field for FIU and to close this one out.
If you want a third goal, there's a man who can certainly get it for you. Stephen Afrifa will be coming on shortly. Again, the winner, they will get the automatic bid as the conference champion. Be one of the 23 teams in men's Division I soccer who gets that automatic bid. The other 25 in the field of 48, they will have to wait and see if they get in with an at-large bid, and that may well be the case for South Florida. The selection show tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern on ncaa.com, in case you want to go ahead and take a look at that. Garcia the target, is Schaefer able to clear it away. Hildebrand, nice job shielding that ball. Spangler able to get through one, now a second. Looking for Resano, it's too far. More often than not, that has been the case, and Oscar Resano less than pleased. His service thinks it's been a bit lacking today.
Yeah, just unable to connect there with Spangler. Those two, they've done such a good job all season long connecting. And I think actually, okay, so it looks like we're going to have a corner kick, so a call changed.
Initially, it was a goal kick, and the reaction from that Bulls bench, they saw it take a deflection. The referee changes this, and as you said, a corner coming now for the Privitera. Again, sent into a dangerous spot. Couldn't turn. Afolabi, Shigun Afolabi there, the sophomore from Atlanta.
Well, you had a lot of traffic in front of Har here. yeah, a couple black shirts there in the area. No harm done, though, for FIU.
And here comes first team unanimous all-conference selection, Stephen Afrifa. He will take his brother's spot as Simon heads to the bench. Stephen comes on looking for his 11th goal of the season. Levinsky, he was looking for Alves. Alfred Perez on in the place of Ajmir Spangler for the Bulls. Time of the essence.
got little over 7 minutes to go. I mean, it's not the full kitchen sink time, but 2 goals in 7 minutes. It's just it's going to require everything you got.
Victorio sending it out to Mazzaferro. Headed away by Garcia. He in the back line. They have been outstanding all match long for FIU. Vitera. Look back. Referee says play on. And dispossessed. Victorio. Dominguez there up to Tabinski. Tabinski wisely pulls it back, waiting for reinforcements.
Such a good job from the FIU defense. I mean, they're taking every single challenge from USF and just turning them back, thwarting them at every single turn.
Christensen looking for Tabinski. He's trying to find a free from Mazzaferro there. Another change coming as we get under the 6-minute mark. It'll be the man who currently is sitting on the game winner. He found it in the 25th minute. Bernardo dos Santos Monteiro, the sophomore from Portugal. It'll be Paulo Alves headed out. Frifa. That time Mazzaferro getting the better of him.
But what a smart, composed second half from FIU here. I mean, they knew they were going to be challenged by the USF attack. They knew that the Bulls were going to have to commit numbers forward, try to apply more pressure, mount pressure, and FIU has just handled it with aplomb. Just speaks to this is a team that's ready, that's obviously very prepared and very well coached.
They are indeed. Their defense doing its job to a T.
I'll be really curious, Kit, to see, assuming FIU see this out and how they're going to do in the NCAA tournament and go against like some of the more traditional programs. Yeah. How far can they go?
See if South Florida gets in with an at-large bid. Take a look at the shots, and more than 2-1 in favor of FIU, but that's not the stat. It's the shots on goal. 6-1. The Bulls with just 1 shot on goal this entire match.
Yeah, I mean that's pivotal right there.
Wyman with the save and had to come up with it cleanly. Tabinski was lurking.
Credit to Wyman. He's been really good in the second half, keeping his side in it.
And his counterpart only facing 1 shot on goal. Just the 1 shot on goal that Kevin Haar has had to stop, and with his defense doing such a masterful job, that's come up with the 1 save, and he's been able to do that. Matias Lamanen out wide. Hodek, fans telling him to shoot it.
I think that's the better play right there. No hurry whatsoever from FIU. They're possessing, batting the ball around, really playing to their liking.
Right now, Arch, it's more about taking time off the clock than it is goals. I mean, obviously, if you can find another, that's great, but more important is taking this 3 minutes off the clock and coming away with this victory.
Right, and just, seeing things out.
It is now indeed just a matter of time as we are under the 3-minute mark. It appears that South Florida may well be resigned to their fate. Tabinski, Mazzaferro there. Tabinski somehow able to keep it in and somehow wins the corner. And what a match from the coaching staff of the year. First year as a member of the American, Kyle Russell and his staff. A great game plan executed to perfection in front of the home fans.
Yeah, and now they can sense it, right? Now they can sense it. You hear it from the crowd. There they are, excited. About to clinch a conference tournament championship.
They will have the double, the regular season title, and now 2 minutes away from the tournament title as well.
Certainly a game effort from the Bulls, but just a couple lapses there in the back in that first half, and we've said it all throughout this tournament, really all throughout the season. Just the slightest of mistakes, and they can prove costly. They can make the difference.
We've said it time and time again, but it bears repeating. The Panthers' defense has been absolutely stellar.
Yep, they play smart. They're intelligent. Good goalkeeper in Har. Maintain their lines. Know when to step. Really good in the air.
The Bulls will have to tune in at 1 Eastern tomorrow on NCAA.com to see if they are one of the 25 teams that gets in at large bid. FIU knows they're going to be one of the 23 that get an automatic bid as the conference champion, as they are just 65 seconds away from being the American tournament champion. And checking them in a big collision in the box, and both immediately going to ground. Certainly cause for concern here. This is not what you want to see in the dying seconds, as Luca Hollenstein, the junior center back from Austria, they're colliding with Carlos Scheckerman.
Boy, that was a hard collision. I really hope these two players are okay. As you see the immediate attention from the trainer's medical, and that's head on head, and yeah, both of these players really hope they're both okay. It was a very, very hard collision.
Scheckerman, Hollenstein, both just trying to make a play in the final minute. You could see Har and his teammates immediately waving the trainers out. Arch, obviously these young men, such impressive athletes, but what they do off the field and the futures they have, least we forget. I mean, they are student athletes. You look at some of their majors, you look at some of their GPAs, and just very, very impressive futures. Safety first and foremost, as it always should be.
This is one of the unfortunate things about soccer. You can have these head-to-head collisions. I think the game has gotten so much better in addressing that and trying to improve, to be much more wary about, stopping the game when there's an immediate head injury. And I just really, really hope these two young men, that they're both okay.
Luca Hollenstein he's been able to get up, the Austrian center back.
Yeah, I mean, Scheckerman, you could tell when it hit, Scheckerman went down very, very hard.
We'll take a break. Final minute, and FIU up 2-0.
Nearly 150 years of experience goes into making each and every Continental tire. So you can trust with total confidence that our tires will deliver superior performance, no matter where the road takes you. Continental Tire, for what you do.
That's the thing about claims, you see. They don't happen on your schedule. I mean, take a chestnut. It doesn't just say, oh, beg pardon, but it's now a good time for a jolly bit of window cracking. Near as I can tell, chestnuts don't talk.
Geico, your claims team is here for you 24/7.
No one loved hot chicken more than my friend Sam. And this juicy, hot, spiced-to-order Dave's hot chicken would have been his favorite of all time if it wasn't for his other passion, driving with his head out the sunroof.
Stick your head out, Wiggles!
Wiggles, no! Please don't mess up and die before you eat Dave's.
Find it, try it, paint it, love it. Find it, try it, paint it, love it. Find it, try it, paint it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
Progress is a race that has no end. After every finish line, another challenge awaits. How can we continue to push innovation in a sport at the forefront of technology? This is how. Discover how Aramco and the Aston Martin Formula One team aim to meet Formula One's sustainable fuel targets. Aramco, powered by How.
My name is Chuck, and I was seriously injured by a large truck.
Chuck had life-threatening injuries after being hit by a large truck.
I knew Mr. Colombo's reputation, actually a no-brainer to go with him.
Hurt by a truck? Call Colombo Law.
This time could be up there with the greatest of times. And it starts now.
You gotta be kidding me!
And great to see is Carlos Schekerman, the senior defender from Barcelona, Spain, able to walk off the pitch under his own power. The Miami-Dade County EMTs here, but he said he wanted to come off, and that is a great thing to see after the collision between he and Luca Holenstein.
Yeah, I mean, Schekerman, that was a hard collision. Nice to see that he's able to walk off on his own power, but they'll need to continue to evaluate him. Oh, and you just see that right there. I mean, both players, and Schekerman going down very hard. I'm sure family and friends back in Barcelona glad to see that he's upright. He appears to be okay. They're going to need to watch him, though, make sure. Certainly, you know, he does not need to be returning to the field, especially with just 1 minute left. But
he will not. It'll be Edgar Aguilar coming on in his stead, the sophomore from Querétaro in Mexico. But as you said, they'll certainly need to keep an eye on Schekerman, such a great player, second-team all-conference defender. Another masterful performance from him, and wonderful to see that he is indeed able to come off the pitch under his own power. And FIU, we talk a lot about Afrifa, we talk a lot about the goal scorers, but for me, it's been this back line and the defense, what they've been able to do, limiting South Florida to a single shot on goal in this entire match.
No doubt, and it was you know, a similar story in the semifinal against Memphis. You saw what's a very good Memphis attack, especially in transition. They couldn't get anything going. They couldn't muster anything against this FIU back line. Thought going into today that USF would challenge FIU more, but no. Schekerman and the rest of that FIU defense have just been superb.
Final few seconds as Garcia sends this to touch, and it is celebration time for the Panthers here at the FIU